So this is our token, guys. We can take this token and we can go to one of the website that is JWT.io to verify our token. Okay, so let's type this. Once you open this, we can go to the debugger. Okay, and once you go to the debugger, we can paste the token that is generated. So let's paste our token. So as soon as you paste the token, you can see you can have the header dot payload dot signature. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to discuss about a topic called JWT. It is quite important topic. Whenever you face any technical interview, there is a 99.9% chance that interviewer is going to ask in details about authentication and authorization, and those things are not complete without JWT. Okay, so I will be taking your 2 minutes to explain something brief about it, and then we can go directly into the Visual Studio Code where we can create and validate the JWT from a scratch. So be there in this video till end. If you like this kind of content, please do not hesitate to subscribe our channel. Okay, so you must be wondering what is this two box. Okay, so I can name it as, let's say, client, and this is server. Okay, so I'm just going to show you where exactly JWT is going to be used. Okay. Client is going to make a request to the server. Okay, and it will ask the server to validate the authenticity of the user, whether user is authorized to access those pages or not. Okay, so what will happen, server is going to authenticate it first. So server is going to validate the details against the user. So probably user must have provided the user ID password. And if user is a valid user, then what happened? Server is going to create a token called JWT. Okay. And this token will be sent to the client in form of response. Okay. So this will be added to the response. Mostly it will be in a header. Okay, so whenever client makes subsequent request, okay, this JWT can be used instead of his login and password, and this JWT can be validated here. Okay, now let's discuss the structure of JWT before going into the actual code. So JWT contains three parts. The first one is going to be the header. Okay, header will have two information: what algorithm we are using to sign this token. So the first one is going to be algo, and second is going to be the type. Okay, so type is going to be JWT. The second part of the JWT is called payload. So payload contains claims. Okay, and these claims can have multiple information like let's say who issued this token. Okay, and where actually it was issued at. So IAT, who is the audience for it, what is the subject, what is the expiration time, and some additional data like what are the roles user has. Okay, so this payload basically is a key value pair. Okay, so key value pair. So we create it as a dictionary. Okay, we can see it in a code. And then third one is signature. Okay, so what is there in the signature? So signature used to sign the header plus payload with a secret key. So not directly the header, rather base URL 64 version. Okay, so we need to encode first the header and payload, and then we can pass it to the signature to sign this with a secret key. So we can write header plus payload, and this is going to be signed with some secret key. Okay, now let's go straight into the implementation. Hey guys, so we are into the Visual Studio. Okay, so let's create a new project. So we can simply create a console application. So console application with C#. So let's choose this template and let's click on the next. Let's name the project as JWT application. Okay, location can be anything. So let's go to next. So the latest .NET framework is .NET 8.0. So we are going to use the same. Okay, let's create it. I do not need this program.cs. Let's delete it. Okay, so the first class what we need is the header. Okay, let's create a class called header. So add, and then we can add the class name as header.cs. Add. Okay, let's make this class as public. And this class will have two property. If you remember, the first one is algorithm and second one is type. So we can write public string algorithm and then get set. Second property is going to be type. So we can write public string and then type. That's it. Okay. So we are done with our first class. These things are not needed, so we can remove these unused namespaces. Now let's create our second class, that is payload class. Okay. Let's add a second class. We can name it as payload.cs. Again, it has to be the public. This will create, so this will contain claims, right? So we can write public, and what I told you while explaining is it will be a dictionary. Okay. So what we can write is public dictionary, and key is going to be string and value is going to be string, and we can name the dictionary as, come on, claims. Okay, that's it. That's all. We don't need these namespaces. Let's remove it. Okay. And we can create one more class where we'll be actually building the logic to create JWT. So let's create a class, and we can name it as JWT create class.cs. Okay. So we are going to have some methods here which will be used to create JWT. Okay. So let's make it as public. Let's do one thing. Let's make this class as a static class. Okay. And let's create a method called public static. Return type is going to be a string. Come on. And the method name is going to be generate token. So the first parameter we can pass is header. So this is the header class we have created. Okay. And then second parameter is going to be your payload. And we need the secret key also, right? So secret key will be of type string. So we can write a string and then secret key. Okay. Now, as I told you, in order to generate the signature, you need a header payload in the base URL 64 format. Okay. So for that, what we can do first is we can serialize our header and payload. So we can write where payload, we can write serialize is equal to JSON convert. Okay. Probably, guys, we need to add the NuGet package. So let's go to the application, manage NuGet package, and we need to browse for newtonsoft.json. Okay, so probably it should give me the suggestion. So this is the package which we need. So let's install it, apply. Okay, so this has been installed. You can see the dependency packages. This is done, right? Let's close this window. Let's add that namespace using newtonsoft.json, right? Now it will give me the JSON convert dot serialize object, and we can pass the payload. Okay. Similarly, we need to convert the header into string as well. I mean, we need to serialize it. So we can write where header serialize is equal to this JSON convert dot serialize object header. Okay. Now what we have to do is we have to convert this into base URL 64. So for that, we have to create some method which will take string as an input and convert that, right? So we can write, we can create another method. So we can write public static string, and we can name the method as base 64 URL encode, and what we need to pass here is simply string. Okay, so string, any string. We'll be using this to actually convert our header and payload. Okay, now what will happen once we receive the string? We need to convert that to a stream of bytes. So we can write where bytes is equal to, it's giving me suggestion, but I will not take it, encoding dot utf8 dot get bytes. Okay, so now it has been converted to the stream of bytes or array of bytes. Okay, now what you have to do is you have to convert this into base URL 64 string. So for that, what we can write is where let's say base URL is equal to you can write system dot convert dot to base 64 string, and then we can pass the bytes. Okay, so this base URL is now we have. Now what happened, guys? In order to make the URL safe, we need to trim something and we need to replace something from this. Okay, so it's better to name it as base 64, and let's name our next variable called var base URL. Okay, and here what we can do is we can trim those things which is needed. So we can write base 64 dot end trim end, and then we can trim this. So we can trim this and then we can replace. So plus is going to be replaced with the minus. So this comma this. Okay, and then we need to replace this slash with underscore. Come on, no, that's it. Okay, and now we can return this URL. So as I told you, in order to create the signature, we need the payload and header in the base64 URL format. Okay, so let's get those using this method. So add header base64 is equal to, we can call this method base64 encode, and we can pass the header, serialized header. Good. Now we need one more thing, that is payload, and that is going to be in 64 format, base64 format. So we can call the method by passing the serialized payload. Okay, now the next thing is to generate the signature. Okay, so let's create a method which will generate the signature. Okay, so we can write public static string generate signature. So what it is going to take is base64 URL version of header and payload, as I already told you. So the first parameter is going to be string and header base64. Okay, we can take it. I mean, name can be anything, you can give any name. So a string, the second one is going to be payload base URL 64 version, and let's add base 64. Okay, and the third parameter, this signature is going to take it as secret key. Let's remove it. Okay, now guys, what I told you is this is gonna sign the header plus payload. Okay, so let's create a ciphertext. Ciphertext is going to be, we need to create one string. Okay? And here we'll have the header base 64. Okay, dot the payload base 64. Okay, let's close it. So we are going to use a cryptographic algorithm to sign this header plus payload using a secret key. So we can write that algorithm, this one. Okay, is equal to new. So this is the algorithm which we're taking. Okay, so if you see, this is asking for a input parameter, so this will probably take the bytes, array of bytes. Okay, so what we can do is we can pass this secret key, but we need to convert this into array of bytes. So we can write encoding dot utf-8 dot get bytes, and we can pass the secret key. Now let's create a hash result for it. So we can write var hash result is equal to we can use this object, and then dot compute hash is the function which we are going to use. So this will need the bytes. Okay, so what we can do is we can convert this ciphertext into array of bytes. So again, we have to use the same thing, encoding dot utf-8 dot get bytes, and then we need this ciphertext. Got it? Right, now this hash result is array of bytes, and we need to convert this to base64 URL encoding. Okay, so for that, what we can do is we cannot use this method if you say, because this will take the string. So we can create a similar method. Let's see how. So this will take byte. Okay, and let me use this as bytes. Okay, and what we can do here is we can remove this since it is already taking the bytes. Okay, so this is something that we need here. So guys, what we can do is, can we use this method here also? So after this, I think we can use this. So we can call this method. So we can call this in return and we can pass the bytes here. That's all. So now we can use this method here. Okay, so let's see. So we can write return this. So we can pass the array of bytes and it will return me the base64 URL encode. So that's all. I mean, as of now, we are able to generate signature. Okay. So now let me go to this method again, generate token, and let me call the third parameter as var signature is 64. Okay. So here I need to call this method generate signature. Got it? And what it need is these two parameter plus secret key. So you can pass the header, come on, comma, payload, and then secret key. Got it? So now we have all three things needed to create a token. Okay. So what we can do is we can write return and then we can convert this as a string. Okay. So we can write something like this. So this JWT is nothing but the combination of all three. So we can write this dot, we can write the payload base64 dot, we can write the signature base64. Okay, that's done, I guess. So when you call this generate token method, now you'll be getting a JWT. Okay, so I think we are good with this. Now let's open the Solution Explorer again. And guys, what we are going to do is we are going to create a class from where we'll be supplying the data and we'll be calling this generate token to see what token actually it is generating, and then we can validate that as well. So let's create a class called let's call this as main class. Okay, dot cs. So here we can have our void main. So let's make it as public class. So guys, let's prepare the data. So the first thing we need is header, right? So we can write var header is equal to new header. Okay, and what exactly we need here is let me do this. We need the algo. So ALG. Okay, and we are using the algorithm HS256, so we can give the name as this. And then the second property is going to be type, so we can specify the type as JWT. Okay, so that's done. So we have prepared the header. Now let's think about the payload. Okay, so we can create a dictionary now. Okay, so we can write var claims is equal to new dictionary, and this is going to be a string, right? Key is string and value is string. And then we can add some key value pair to the claims, like maybe we can see if the role is of admin. So we can write is admin. So this is the key, and the value we can specify is, let's say, false. Okay. Let's add the second key value pair. So claims dot add, and let's add the subject. Okay. So we can write SUP, and subject is, let's say, we can specify user login. Okay. So we have created the claims. Now let's create the object of what's the class payload. Okay, so we can write var payload is equal to new payload, and then we need claims, right? So we can specify like this. So we have substituted the value of claims here. Okay, because this class needs the claims, right? Now we need a secret key, right, in order to generate the token. So we can provide any secret key and we can provide it directly. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me just write where and what I can write JWT token is equal to. So if you remember, this class has the method called generate token, right? So we can simply call this class, and since this is a static class, so you can directly use the class name dot method. So what's the method we need? Generate token, right? So this one needs header, payload, and secret key. Okay? So let me just give the header. So this is the header. Then we need to provide the payload. So we can give the payload that we have created, and then secret key. Okay, so secret key is nothing but the string, right? So what we can do is, just a second, guys. Why it is throwing the error? The term payload does not exist. Oh, come on. I have given the name as payload. It should be payload. Okay, and let's give the secret key name as subscribe. Okay, that's done. So ideally we can show it to the console, or we can put a debugger and directly catch the value here. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me put a breakpoint here. Okay, and one breakpoint here. Okay, so that we can see what is the value of JWT token we are getting, right? So if you want, we can go to the implementation and we can put a breakpoint here, but that is not necessary. I'm damn sure that it is going to generate the JWT token with our logic. Okay, let's run this. First, let me build it, okay, to make sure there is nothing, no error. Okay, there is no error, right? So this is our token, guys. We can take this token and we can go to one of the website that is JWT.io to verify our token. Okay, so let's type this. Once you open this, we can go to the debugger. Okay, and once you go to the debugger, we can paste the token that is generated. So let's paste our token. So as soon as you paste the token, you can see you can have the header dot payload dot signature. So all three are in different color. You can verify here as well. So it has decoded the token. So you can verify these are the things we have provided in our code, right? So algorithm is HS256, type is JWT, and this is the claim which we have used in our code, right? So we have used isAdmin and subject, if you remember. And then you can verify the signature here by clicking on this. So signature is verified. So I think we are pretty much able to achieve what we were aiming for. And that's all, guys. We'll meet up in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Take care.